Usual drill, please, if you could give us a little wave and we'll try and get the microphone to you. I imagine the first set will be here where the microphone's around, so we'll try and prioritise that, and anyone this side of the room, just give us a wave. Vinny, the first two, please, and There's no translation, clearly.
Jurgen, after the weekend, VAR has again been a big talking point. I just wonder whether it's Champions League or Premier League, is or was football better with or without VAR?
I think we all expected a proper improvement from VR. That's how it is, and I still think that's possible. And we all expected as well that that there will be a couple of problems in the beginning. I was not in Germany when they started VR, but I'm still pretty close and realized in the first year it was difficult as well there, getting better and better and better. But I do some things different to England as well. That's how it is. It's not better or worse. It's just different. And so far, we cannot really. And there were some moments, obviously, when it's clear. But that's the clear offside, clear handball, all that stuff. When you say, okay, that's what why we wanted it, all because we want clarification. That's all. That's all. When it came up, we thought, okay, good decisions, sometimes for you, sometimes against you, that's how it is, but the right decision. And so now I think in a moment we discuss much more after games about ref decisions than we did without VR, and that I don't think that was the real reason for it, and so it's clear we have to obviously improve that altogether, and I think that's on its way. So a lot of meetings will happen. It's difficult in a moment for us to be part of meetings because we have a pretty busy schedule, but yeah, as much as we can help from the football side, we will try, and that's how it is, and we'll see what happens.
Can I also ask you what you made of Pep Guardiola's comments with regard to Sadio Mane when he says sometimes he's diving, sometimes he has this talent to score incredible goals in the last minute. He's a talent. Obviously complimentary on the one hand, and then raising questions about diving on the other. So
I'm not reading the English. The papers asked me already about it, and I tried to say pretty much nothing about it. Didn't work 100%, but I'm not really in the Man City mood in the moment, to be honest. I don't think about it. I like that he says about one of my players. I'm not 100% sure that he spoke about Sadio or about us in general, because it maybe only mixed the words he and it or them up. I'm not sure now, but maybe only mixed them because I didn't hear the Sadio's name. I don't know how he could have known about any incident in the game so quick after the game, what happened there. But I can say, and people from other clubs, it's always like this, that's how it is, but Sadio is not a diver. So it was a situation in the Aston Villa game where he got a contact and went down, and maybe it was not a penalty, but there was contact. It's not like jumping over a leg and do like he hit you or whatever. Just there was contact, and all the other penalties were penalties because he was in that situation, stayed there, and I'm 100% sure if something would happen like this for Man City, they would want to have a penalty because somebody kicked the player in the box, and that's a penalty. So that's pretty much. But I'm absolutely not in the mood to talk about Man City. I really want to talk today about Genk or us or whatever, but not about the game on Sunday.
Talking about you, more goals in the last 15 minutes than any other team in the Premier League. Why is that, and what confidence does it give you? not just in the title race in the Premier League, but I'm also thinking when it comes to a competition like this as well. The fact that you are so potent in those last 15 minutes again.
Different reasons, obviously. You can say because we have to, because of the result in the game, stuff like this. We have to chase the game too often if you want. But on the other side, we are there to squeeze everything out of the 95 minutes we can. That's how it is. Unfortunately, we were not really often high enough up to control the game only in the last few minutes, and it's a situation. So, but of course, on the one side, it shows a problem that we concede obviously goals in moments when we are not 2, 3, or 4-0 up. The last 3 times we conceded the first goal in the game. The good thing is obviously that it's not a massive impact, obvious. So it's like it should be. It's an information, nothing else. no impact needed. Just go for it. It's never that we think before a game we only want to score once, and it should be enough. And then if you concede one and think, oh my God, we only can go for a draw now. We want to win football games, and we don't want to stretch luck too much. That's how it is. But the game, for example, Aston Villa, I didn't think 100% that we will score, but I was sure we will get moments if we stay as composed as we were, and as clear and as creative and as direct as we were in this second half. Then we will have chances, and then we have to use them. Obviously, that's what the boys did in very decisive moments, and that's why we won the game. That's why we scored now twice late, and against Tottenham late. It's United late and all these things. It's important, but it's about the result in the game, and we had to do so. So that's why we have that number. But how is that? To 100%, honestly, I don't care. We have to win football games, and I don't expect perfect football games. It's not that I think it's not allowed to make this mistake. The goal we conceded against Aston Villa is a good example. It was no mistake. There was no mistake. It was we defend set pieces really well usually, and defended that set piece really well. But we have to accept that Aston Villa did better than we did in that situation. So smart block on Virgil, which is usually not enough, and very good timing of the runs, which helps a lot around set pieces, and they did it really well. So they deserve that goal. That's how it is. It was not a mistake. So, but you can concede goals like this in football. So no problem with that. Nobody needed to feel bad about it, and so we carried on, and at the end we did it.
Yes.
You say about nobody feeling bad, but Alisson said it really annoys him when you can't keep clean sheets.
I can imagine.
From them because you've had less than half the amount at this time last season. So do you deep down feel probably the same?
That is always part of development. A lot of things work out really well in that season. Already, it's only 11 matches in. Yes, it feels much longer, but it's only 11 games, and there's a lot of. We always try to improve it, but you can. Our main target cannot be now to have clean sheets. We want to have clean sheets, but we have to be creative. We have to do. And the goals we conceded were all different. The set piece thing is now one time against Tottenham was their first attack, deflected ball, crossbar. It doesn't happen. For me, it's more important that opponents don't create against us a lot. If they score with their one chance they have, yeah, it's not nice, but that's nothing you really can work on. But we have to. That's of course we don't want to concede goals. That's easy as that. And as a goalkeeper, I can imagine that it annoys him. But at the end, he's as happy as all the others when we win the games. And he's not too much bothered about the clean sheet or whatever. But we will have clean sheets during the season, I'm 100% sure, and there will be a moment when we defend all the situations better again, and then we still have to score goals to win the games.
And I understand why you wouldn't want to be in a Manchester City mood out of respect for Genk and obviously the competition as much as anything. So how do you stop that mentality when you go through those doors? Do you put a ban on saying those two words, or do you not need to do anything like that?
Ban on what?
The two words that you're not in the mood to say.
The
Manchester
2 words.
City.
Oh, I can say the words Manchester City. I only don't think about them in the moment. Why should I? That's no problem. And you mean if I have to tell the boys?
Anybody that side of the curtain, I suppose.
I don't have to. So the story the boys wrote, if you want, in the last 3 years was only possible because we always focus on the next game completely with all we have. Nobody thinks in this moment, and I don't have to tell them, I know them. Nobody has to tell the boys that City's on Sunday, tomorrow is Genk. So we have big ambitions in this competition tomorrow night, and it's an open group, still pretty much everything possible. So we have to be 100% spot on tomorrow night. We have to create an incredible atmosphere again. We have to make life as uncomfortable as possible for Genk. We have to make sure that we get these 3 points, because that's all why we're doing all this stuff. And that only works if you are 100% focused on it. That's everyone knows that. So for the people in the stadium, it's very important that they really dig in that game tomorrow night. For the players, it's very important that we do that. And so I don't doubt my players at all. So I know that I really would feel a bit embarrassed if I have to tell them, by the way, boys, don't think about Man City already. So I know them well enough. I don't have to do that.
Okay. Just for the flow of the passing the microphone over, Matt, you've got it now. Then we'll go the gentleman here, then Norway, and then Norway.
You just touched on it there, Jurgen, but how much of a challenge is it for you as a coach when you arrive to this game tomorrow and virtually everybody expects you to win and win the game comfortably? How different a challenge is that for you?
It's a challenge, but pretty much the best you can have, because it means you are a manager of a good team. You are in an okay situation at least, and that's how it is. It took long enough for us to come in a situation like that. So I don't want to be in a situation now and now think that's the biggest problem in football. It's not, but yes, of course. But it's especially always these center games of the group stage is like you have one away, one at home. We had that last year. I actually forgot it where we had it 2 years ago, but last year we had it against Red Star Belgrade, and we won at home very comfortably. Maribor, and even there it was really high. It was 7-0 there, and at home was not that. It was, I think, 3-0 also. Yeah. So clear as well, but not the same game. So people maybe expect that, but they want to strike back. That's how it is. That's how football is. That's how life is. That's how sports is, and that's. It's 100% clear that we really have to put in a proper shift tomorrow night. And we started the group, yes, maybe with the most difficult game you could get against Napoli away, with actually a good game but a bad result, and that put us under pressure immediately. So we had to win the next 2 games. We did that, and now we have to use this basis tomorrow night, and that's why we need everybody again, really, because how you can, I said the group is still open, and that means for Genk as well. Means whatever their target is now, if they want to go in the group, or if they want to qualify for Europe at least at the end, for the European League at the end, in the end, that's still possible, and especially if they win tomorrow night. So they have so big targets, and that's what we have to respect, and what we always did. How I said, the story in the last 2 years is that we were always spot on in a specific moments when it was really needed, and it was in these specific moments when we have the games, and that's what we have to show again. Otherwise, we don't have a chance, and otherwise, we don't deserve a chance to go far in the competition, or maybe even win it at the end, because you only have a chance if you really respect each opponent. That's what we did, and that's what we will do. Yeah, and then it's still a challenge, but how I said, a rather better one.
Hi, Coach. I read in the newspapers that you didn't check on the result of Manchester City after the Villa game. Did you check on the result of Racing Genk last weekend? And what do you make of that?
Yeah, they lost that. Yeah, usually I do that. I don't remember them all, but in the first moment I look at lineup, stuff like this. Meanwhile, I know as well how Man City played, but it was when I come in the dressing room, I don't ask how did the other teams play. So it was actually 45 minutes after the game when somebody told me the results of the other games, and that's the first moment when I heard about it. And that's all. But of course, I know about Genk, and I know the different lineups, stuff like this, that what they changed and what they who could play, and all these things. I have all the information, but actually the final analyze meeting is after the press conference, and then I have all the information I need, and then we can train, and then we can train tomorrow morning again, and then we will play tomorrow night.
Okay. Yes, and then we'll pass the microphone.
Hi, Jurgen.
Hi.
After the Aston Villa match this weekend, James Milner put up a picture on Instagram where this caption was health warning. If you suffer from anxiety or heart problems, it's not advisable to support LFC. What do you make of that? And those comebacks, is that something you train on or practice on during trainings?
Oh, I would love to say we do that all weekend, but we don't have too much time to train it. We trained it in the games before, if you want. Yeah, you are right. All my family, friends, all of them who are close with us tell me the same. It's really they try to enjoy our games, but it's more nervy and exciting, like it should be in their opinion. And but to be honest, it was not that intense. Heart attack wise, it was not that big, because you have to accept in football, if you are really good, you should win a game. It's not clear that you will win the game, but then you should win the game. And we were in the first half not that as good as we could. In the second half we were really good, but the result was against us. A couple of other things in the game were against us as well. And staying then on track, that really shows, yes, character, mentality as well. Don't get bothered by things you can have no influence on, and that's what obviously is better with a team who is working longer together. What we do, meanwhile, we have a lot of players, 4 years in, a lot of players, 3 years in, 2 years on all that stuff. So we are not together since a couple of weeks. So the we together created this kind of belief that we really can do it. But we don't expect that it will happen without our influence. And boys influenced it a lot, and that's why we deserved it. But I can imagine that it's pretty hard to follow us, and I'm sorry for that. But at least at the end, most of the time, there was some relief, and that's good.
It's going to be the final question.
Hi again. You're playing against Genk, which is a very famous club for very big players. De Bruyne, Koulibaly, a lot of players, and Ndidi. Having analysed, yeah.
Don't forget that. Liverpool legend, by the way. Pretty famous here.
Having analysed them and played against them once, who strikes you as the next big thing from them?
Oh, yeah. I made this week already a mistake and put a proper backpack on the young players' back from another club. I will not do that with the Genk players as well. But that's a proper club. That's really a nice story. When we played there and we saw all the pictures from the players who played there, I thought in that moment, thank God they are not all here and we play them. So not that I didn't respect the players out there, but this is really an unbelievable group of players which they send all over the world. So that says a lot about the club, and it says a lot about the character of a club and the teams they create always. Last year becoming champion, which is incredible, an incredible success. Losing players, key players again, still staying on track, try it again, make new decisions, bring in new players. It's such a wonderful story, to be honest, but unfortunately we are not here to show our admiration or how much we admire stories like this. We have to beat them. That's a competition for, and that's what we will try. But it's really, I respect clubs like this a lot, and it's sensation. And there will in the future there will be more names coming from there. It's because if you have some, if you have this kind of direction as a club, it brings in other young kids who want to do the same, they have their role models out there in world football, and it's really, it's important obviously for imagine the world of football, how it would be without all these wonderful players born or raised or educated at Genk. Oh, really, not that nice. So we enjoy a lot what they do in the world of football, and that's cool. Thank you very much, Genk.
Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Oi.